George Kirby. George 7-5 with a 4.04 ERA, making his 15th start of the year. Got off to that slow start. He was out for the first 2 months. Well, now time is called. Home plate umpire Mike Belinsky over toward the Mariners' third base dugout to have a little conversation with Dan Wilson. And what this is all about, obviously, I have no clue. But conversation continues. Now it breaks up, and now Mike heads on back behind home plate. It's always interesting when an umpire gets together at the start of the game, after the start of the game.
Before a pitch, too. So that's odd.
Yeah. George is ready to go. And here's the kid, Jackson Holliday. Man, his dad, Matt, was an outstanding player for many years in the big leagues. Holliday, left-handed hitter. Pitch on the way, swinging a foul, backing out of play, and the count is 0-1. Jackson hitting .251. He has 14 home runs and 44 runs batted in. I came out, watched a little early batting practice for the Orioles. Baby-faced kid, but man, he's a big leaguer just like his daddy. Here's the pitch, swung on, chopper past the mound, charging the second baseman Cole Young on the run. The throw across his body, and it's in time to first to get Holliday. What a play by Cole Young. Racing into his right in front of the bag at second out of the infield grass. Shannon had a great interview with infield coach Perry Hill, who's best ever at his job, talking about how far this kid has come, how prepared he is before each and every game, knows where to be, and anytime the ball is hit, he makes a nice play right there, 1 out. Brings up third baseman Jordan Westberg. The pitch to him, swung on, ground ball right to Cole Young at second base this time. He's got it, throws the nailer over at first in time for the second out of the inning. So 3 pitches for George Kirby and 2 outs. Well, friends, when considering a Volvo, people should come to Sandberg Volvo Cars in Linwood to experience the Sandberg difference, the only Excellence Award winner and family-owned and operated Volvo dealership in the Northwest. Come in as a friend and leave as a member of the family. See great reviews at SandbergVolvoCars.com. Here's Gunnar Henderson. The pitch on the way from George, and it's low and inside for ball 1. Henderson, last 35 games, batting .304, one of the recognizable names left over after the many trades the Orioles have made at the deadline. The windup to the pitch. Fastball for a strike, and the count evens at 1-1. Anderson, 14 home runs, 50 runs batted in. Big, strong kid. Adley Rutschman is due up next. The windup by Kirby delivers. Breaking ball, low and inside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Kirby in his last outing last Wednesday, an 8-6 win over the White Sox at home, went 6 innings. Gave up just 2 runs, walked only 1, and he struck out 9. Next offer on the way, another breaking ball is low and inside, ball 3, 3-1. He got out of a bases loaded jam in the top of the third, then retired 11 of the next 12. Cal behind the plate, going through the signs for George. Kirby ready, the windup, and the 3-1 to Henderson. Fastball for a strike, and Henderson thought it was going to be ball 4. It wasn't. Full count, 3-2. Defensively, the Mariners have Rosarena in left, Julio in center, Canzone in right, Suarez, Crawford, Young, Naylor, third to first, a battery of Kirby and Raleigh. George, slender right-hander out of Rye, New York, up not too far from Citi Field, the home of the Mets, will be playing on the next stop on this trip. The windup and the 3-2. Swinging a chopper along the first base line. Charging his Naylor. He's got it. He'll go to the bag himself, and he gets there just in time to beat Gunnar Henderson for the out, and a nice play turned in by Josh Naylor. And 1-2-3 go the Orioles on 3 ground ball outs here in the bottom of the first. We go to the top half of the... Mariners 1 and the Orioles nothing. We go to the top half of the second. We just had an announcement from Oakland umpire Mike Malinsky, Gary.
Yeah, we found out what he was talking to Dan Wilson about. There was an issue with replay, and it was a pregame issue, so replay is back up at normal, but both teams will have their normal allotment of replay.
Jorge Polanco lead off the second inning. Here's the pitch from Dean Kramer. It's a breaking ball, strike 0-1.
The only issue now, the only adjustment is there will be unlimited crew chief reviews for the rest of the game, given the issue.
Next offer on the way to Jorge, and it's outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. So if there's a question on the field about a play, we're going to get together and figure it out.
But it seems like replay is back up and normal as of now. So
next offer. Swung on, ground ball wide of third and into left field. Polanco goes the other way for a leadoff single. Mariners putting the ball in play here against Dean Kramer at the start of the ball game. That'll bring up right fielder Dom Canzone. Dom hitting .280 for the year with 7 home runs and 18 runs batted in. Big day on Sunday, and that 6-3 win over the Rays. He was 2 for 4. He drove in a big insurance run in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Look in by Kramer. Polanco lead. Here's the pitch to Dom. Swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch, and the count is 0-1. As far as the Orioles bullpen goes, it is just a mismatch of a lot of guys coming up from the minor leagues. They don't have a closer. If you can get into that Oriole bullpen early, you can do a lot of damage. Here's a swing and a line drive into right field, falling fast and coming in, sliding, tumbling, catches Noda. No, it drops in. He trapped the ball. And so now the throw will go into second base. Polanco is going to be out at second. He was caught between. He had no idea. He thought that Noda caught the ball, so did I. So you can't blame Polanco right there. It looked like Noda made the catch, but the first base umpire said, no, he trapped the ball. So Canzone is on at first base, and Polanco is out at second base. And that's just a tough situation right there for Jorge Polanco. Noda made a heck of a try, but he ended up trapping the ball. Here's J.P. Crawford. 1 on, 1 away. 1-0 Mariners. The pitch to JP is in there for a strike, 0-1.
And nothing he could do about that. If he gets too far off and the ball's caught, he gets doubled up.
Right.
So you can't have that.
Nope.
It's a no-win situation right there.
Can't blame him. Sure looked like Noda caught it, but I guess maybe he did. But when he landed or rolled over, he didn't have the ball. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's outside on JP for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. JP batting .263, 9 home runs, 44 runs batted in. So Canzone lead at first base. Toss over to first, and Dom gets back to the bag standing up. One of the many reasons why the Mariners averaging about 6 runs a game on the last, during the 7-game winning streak is because the bottom part of the order is getting aboard. Here's the stretch, and the 1-1 on the way to Crawford. High and outside, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. The Mariners are averaging 5.9 runs a game the last 7. They've won 7 in a row. The final game against Texas. And the sweep over the White Sox, 3. Sweep over the Rays in 3. They're giving up only 3.5 runs a game during that stretch. Turn and toss over to first base, and Canzone dances back safely to the bag. And the Mariners over the last 7 games during the streak have outscored their opponents 41-25 and hitting 15 home runs. The stretch and the pitch to Crawford, that's high, ball 3, 3-1 the count. So the Baltimore Orioles are trying to figure out who they are right now. Ryan O'Hearn traded away, Ramon Laureano, Gregory Soto, a lot of other relievers. Here's the set. And the 3-1 pitch, swinging a foul straight back by Crawford, and the count is full. And 3 balls and 2 strikes. So if you're a young player in the Orioles organization, you're going to get a chance to play. Chris Negron coaching over at third. Eric Young Jr. at first base as Canzone gets another lead. Good lead at first. Here's the pitch to JP, swinging a ground ball to first, backhanded by Mayo. Down to second for 1. The relay back to Kramer, the pitcher, and it's going to be in time for the double play. And that's going to retire the side. A 3-6-1 double play to get Canzone in second and double up JP at first base. We go to the bottom of the second here at Baltimore.
Oh, the big hit.
second, and switching in catcher Adley Rutschman will lead things off. George Kirby at a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. Here's the pitch to Rutschman. It's a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Rutschman batting just .235, 9 home runs, 27 runs batted in, a product of Oregon State. I was talking with him about the success of Oregon State down through the years. Next offer, strike on the inside corner, and Kirby had Rutschman backing away, but it's on the inside corner, and Rutschman disagrees with Mike Polinsky. Well, the count is 0-2. He said, why has Oregon State had such a great program for years? He said, Pat Casey. Brought in a lot of guys that wanted to play and play hard and created a great culture. Next offer on the way, check swing and a breaking ball in the dirt. Did he go? He did not. The appeal down to Malachi Moore, the umpire there, and the count is 1-2 on Rutschman.
Mitch Canham has carried it forward too. Former Mariners coach is now the head coach at Oregon State.
And he brought up Mitch's name as well. Glad you brought it up. Gary, here's the pitch on the way. Check swing, it's high. For ball 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Oregon State, while back, won back-to-back World Series titles, and that's really hard to do in college.
Yeah.
Your lineup really changes when you get a good program, but half your team is drafted. Here's a swing and a high chopper to third, waiting for it to come down. Suarez. Gino's got it, toss across in time to get Rutschman, and there's one away for the Orioles here in the bottom of the second. Well, time now for tonight's Men of Steel report, brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. How about Cal Raleigh? 45 home runs leading the American League and baseball with those 45 home runs and 98 runs batted in. Tonight's Men of Steel report brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Find your steel. Visit steeldealers.com. That's STIHL dealers.com. Here's Ryan Mountcastle, the DH. The pitch to him is outside for ball 1. One of the few veterans still on this Baltimore roster. It's great to see Hall of Famer Cal Ripken Jr. here at the ballpark this evening. As part of a special promotion the Orioles have with kids and in school here in the Baltimore area. Here's the pitch on the way, a strike on Mountcastle, 1-1. Cal was out in left center field. They had a big tarp out there, and Cal was sitting there reading a book to a bunch of kids. Good to see the Hall of Famer here tonight. Here's the windup and the 1-1 on the way, and it's outside, says Mike Polinsky. You can hear him. Ball 2-1 on Mountcastle. But it was back in September of 1995 that Cal Ripken Jr. broke what was thought to be an unbreakable record. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss at a fastball, 2-2 on Mountcastle. And that was Lou Gehrig's record of 2,130 consecutive games played. Well, something happened with Cal behind home plate. Cal Raleigh, who's named after Cal Ripken. And Cal looks like testing his left leg. He says he's okay. The windup by Kirby, the 2-2. Low and outside, ball 3. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. But in September of 1995, that's when Cal Ripken broke Gehrig's record for consecutive games played, when he got to 2,130 tonight against the Angels. Here's the pitch. Swing, a round ball at the end of the bat. Wide of first base to his right goes Naylor. He's got it in front of Cole Young. Wheels around, fires a strike to Kirby at the back, covering on the play for the second out of the inning. Naylor really goes to his right. He's playing off the bag at first base. He had a long way to go, and he got there. And there's 2 outs for Baltimore.
That's showing some range for a first baseman. You don't see first basemen cover that much ground very often.
Cole Young was right there.
You have to really trust the the pitcher to cover.
Yes. That's the key. If you're a pitcher, look at Naylor right now. He's playing nowhere near first base. He's halfway between first and second. If you're a pitcher, anything on the ground to the right side, you got to get over there. Here's Kobe Mayo, and he takes a strike, 0-1. Mayo batting .217, 4 home runs, and 18 runs batted in. Mariners lead 1-0. Bottom of the second. George has retired the first 5. Here's the pitch. Strike on the inside corner. The count is 0-2 on Mayo. So now the bottom 4 here. Mayo, Noda, Carlson, Allen spent a lot of time in the minor leagues. batting .217, .098, 183, and 0. Greg Allen 0 for 10 start the year with Baltimore. Different look for the Orioles. The windup and the 0-2 on the way, and it's outside for ball one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was something that night when they had the big numbers on the warehouse. 2,131 as Cal broke the record. Not only did he just break the record, here's the pitch on the way. Strike 3 called with a fastball. Mayo caught looking. Strikeout number 1 for Kirby. And that's it for Mayo and the Orioles here in the bottom of the second. 6 in a row set down by George Kirby. We go to the top of the third here in Baltimore.
Great moment.
By Dean Kramer, that's a strike at the knees. He gets ahead 0-1. Mariners got an RBI single from Josh Naylor in the first. Kramer steps into the pitch. Here comes to Cole. That's at the knees. Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Last game that Cole played in was Saturday. Got the start on that game. Went 0 for 0 with 4 walks. Very good day. Here comes the pitch. Down low. He's pushed up his season on base to 340. Just solid. He's been on a pretty good roll his past nearly 50 games, batting 280 with a 370 on base. It's been very productive. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, spoiled foul. Third base side into the seats. He's fit in nicely to this new look Mariners offense. Mariners have won 7 in a row, 9-1 on the last homestand. Here comes the 1-2. A half cut, did he go around? He did. So that's the second punch out for Kramer, the first out here in the third. Let's pause for station identification on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
This is Mariners Baseball.
Inside corner for a strike, 0-1. Randy's still going with the orange batting gloves. That probably matches the other side today a little bit better than it does the Mariners' navy blue tops. Here comes the 0-1. Swung on, popped up. Behind the bag at first base, fair territory. Mayo out, called off now. Holiday there, he makes the catch in fair territory, just off the shoulder. And quickly, there's 2 away. That brings up Cal Raleigh. in his 45 home runs striding to home plate. There's only one Mariner who has hit more home runs in a season than Cal Raleigh. It was a few different times, but Ken Griffey Jr. is the only one with more home runs in a season than Cal Raleigh. Here comes the pitch to him. Swung on a miss. A waving cut at a breaking ball. Curveball just below the zone. All right, now Cal tied with Johnny Bench all time for Major League catchers. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. He has Cal off balance right now. A good splitter. 0-2.
Yeah, two really good off-speed pitches. Had Cal way out in front, and he's going to see a lot of those because he can mash a fastball, and pitchers know that.
He's homered in 3 straight games. He has had a streak of 4 games once this year. Kramer into the wind. Here comes the 0-2. Cal watches it all the way in low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-0 Mariners. 3rd inning. One ball, 2 strikes on Cal. Kramer into the motion. He deals 1-2. Swung on, hot shot, foul. Just down the first baseline, so we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This ballpark, very inviting to lefties. As Cal climbs back into the box. Just 318 down the right field line. A 21-foot wall. But pretty short porch. Here comes the pitch to Cal. Down low. So he's fought even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I heard a Mariner fan just shout MVP. You heard it from up here. Here comes the 2-2. A curveball that's just outside. That was outside. So it's a full count now.
We agree with the guy.
Yes.
A lot of MVP chants on Sunday.
Absolutely. For good reason. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on, and it's hit right in front of home place. Rutschman picks it up with the bare hand, throws to first base to get the out. And Cal, we talked about all the home runs, that one about a foot in front of home plate. Well, that's the 3rd out of the inning.
Let's see if we can figure out the following baseball slang.
Start this one. Mariners leading 1-0. Your Home Street Bank score. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Ryan Noda going to lead things off. a very different looking Baltimore outfield. They're all batting the bottom third of the order. Some veterans in there. Ryan Noda, Dylan Carlson, Greg Allen, the bottom three in the order for Baltimore. George into the motion. Here comes his pitch. Sends it inside for a ball. 1-0. Fastball 95 miles per hour. Noda hasn't played a lot this year. Batting from the left side against Kirby. Into the motion. He deals. And he sends it over. That's a strike right on the corner. Count even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Been such a rough year for Baltimore. They've lost a couple in a row in 7 of their past 10. It's just such a bad start. Here's the pitch. And that's outside. They started 19-36. That was the 3rd worst record in baseball. It's funny, since then, overall, they're 34-28. That's the 4th best record in the American League. There is an added bit of information to that, though. Here's the 2-1. Swung on, popped up. Behind home plate, Cal off with the mask, drifting near the Mariners' dugout. He's near the batter's circle, leans back, makes the catch. And there's 1 away. The thing that you have to keep in mind, even though they have played better after their really struggle at the start, is they're not quite the same team after the deadline. They traded a lot of guys at the deadline. They acquired 16 prospects at the deadline. And a lot of the familiar names that you used to see with Baltimore, Mullins in particular, no longer here.
He really hurt the Mariners a lot with his
Yes.
glove and his bat.
Here's the pitch to Carlson. That's a strike at the knees. O'Hearn, who was an all-star this season, was also dealt at the deadline. Basically, they dealt their outfield and bullpen is essentially what ended up happening. Here's the pitch, and that's a strike. So it's just not remotely close to what it was in the outfield and in the bullpen. Their bullpen, it's basically a whole new pen.
A lot of the guys, too, that was the last year of their contract.
Here's the 0-2. That's upstairs. The other part of that, it was just announced today, Felix Bautista is going to miss the rest of the season for Baltimore as a shoulder injury. He was one of the guys not traded. Of course, their closer, but he's not available. And right now, they don't really have a closer. They have no roles because it's brand new. Here comes the pitch. That's upstairs. So if you look at it from the Mariners' perspective in this series, you'd love to make this about all the bullpens. Because the 3 starters Baltimore will throw at the Mariners are pretty good. So it will not be easy in that regard, but the quicker you can get the start out of the game, the better off for the Mariners at all 3 games. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's a roller past George Kirby. Backhand Young. Spins around. Fires to first. Not quite in time. Carlson beats it out. That's the first base runner for Baltimore. An infield base hit. Good try by Young.
Yeah, I've seen that play a million times. It's so tough for the second baseman because he's running out toward right to center field to try to get to that ball and get off the off-balance throw. That's where he should pop the ball to JP. JP was right there. I saw Julio Cruz and Todd Cruz do that when I first got here in 1983. Just turn the phantom double play about 20 feet behind the bag where you get to that ball, because that's just too tough a play to get off a throw.
Here's Greg Allen batting 9th for Baltimore. The veteran, he's been around. The pitch is outside. Yeah, his momentum was taking him to left field. It's just impossible to get enough on the throw to get anyone that can run with any sort of ability, which Carlson can.
And JP was standing right there, and I go, that's the guy that could throw the ball over there. You know?
Cal will walk out to talk to George Kirby. Mariners leading 1-0. We're in the 3rd inning. You're with us inside the Western Washington Toyota radio booth. It is a hot night here in Baltimore. I know it's hot back at home, and right now I think it's actually even. It's 87 degrees there. It's about that here. However,
I like the however.
I know it's hot at home. Not every 87 is equal.
No. We're right on the Chesapeake Bay here.
Oh,
it's
man.
very humid.
Very humid.
That 87 is really hot.
Yeah, it is sticky and gross here. 87 at home. I know it's hot, but still, it's a pleasant 87. Kirby from the belt. Here's his pitch. cut. Did he go? Yeah, he did. That's a strike. So count even 1-1. There's a giant fan in the dugout. It's like as big as the dugout wall. That's blowing in. It's just from left to right across the dugout. Here's the pitch. That's inside. If you're next to it, too, you can't hear anything. It sounds like a jet engine.
Yes.
It's so loud.
I was getting ready to interview Dan for the pregame show, you know, a while back this afternoon. I go, nah, I can't turn that thing off. People will be very upset, but it's the size of a refrigerator.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball, sharply hit to Cole Young. Gloves it, fires to second for one. Relay by JP to first base, double play. And that's the inning. Nicely turned by the Mariners. A 0 on the board here in the third. We head to the fourth. It's 1-0 Mariners on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
Great moments in baseball have been broadcast on the
Julio grounded out to third his first time. Mariners got their run in the first inning. Arozarena singled solo base and was driven in by Josh Naylor to give the Mariners their run. Kramer, who's been good this year, an ERA a touch over 4 this season. He's been a solid starter all season for Baltimore. He's been especially good here at home. Here's the pitch. And that's taken outside for a ball. 1-0 to Julio.
Gary, I've arrived, my friend.
Brad Adams is here.
Hey!
We've made a trade.
What happened? The trade
made
deadline was last week.
A mid-game trade. Here's the pitch to Julio. That's outside. So Rick Riz has gone to TV for the rest of the game. We've acquired Brad Adams.
I hope you got something more for Rick Riz than just me. Did you get a couple?
Something to be named later.
Something to be named later. Good.
Yeah. Here comes the pitch. That's downstairs. I'm actually hoping for cash considerations to me. That's what.
Yeah, who cares about a player to be named later? We're a broadcaster.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Maybe a headset and give you some new equipment. Do you need anything new? Microphones or something? So I'm still getting situated here because I didn't have my computer yesterday, so I had to write out everything.
Here's the pitch. That's a strike.
Yeah, I'll get to that story in a second there, buddy.
3 balls, 1 strike on Julio, leading things off in the fourth inning. 1-0 Mariners. Here's the pitch. And that's a strike. Just touched the corner with it, so it's a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
But I am kind of old school like Riz. You know, I still like my scorebook. I still write things
good.
out. I know you and Aaron have
Paper.
gone tech. Yeah, I'm paper. Look at that.
I have 9 screens
You've got
in front of me.
17 screens right now. I have one, and it's on the home page right now. I got to get something up here. Hold on.
Here's the 3-2. Swung on a chopper third base side. It's on the line, and it is foul. That was so close. The bare hand by Westberg. But just foul. That would have been an easy hit for Julio. Instead, we'll do it over. Yeah, I'm either calling a baseball game or sending a rocket to the moon. One of the two things happening here. So Julio, in the heat, will make the very slow stroll back to home plate. I don't blame him. I was talking to Chris DeWitt before the game. Wonderful clubby for the Mariners. Does everything. This is a 3-jersey trip for Cal. So they have 3 jerseys for him that he can trade out during the ball game, because it is a stifling night, a muggy night, as we've talked about. So especially when you're the catcher wearing the gear, so he has an opportunity to just cycle through different jerseys during the game. Here's the pitch. That's down low. And that's ball 4. So Julio draws the walk, and the Mariners have the leadoff man aboard. You know, during the first part of the year, they bring 2 jerseys for every guy. So every guy has a backup jersey. This time of year, and on this trip in particular, for the catchers, they get 3 for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get any cooler in New York or Philly. Or Williamsport, for that matter. That'll be fun.
Here's Naylor. He had the RBI for the Mariners. Julio at first base. Here's the pitch. That's upstairs. Not close. 1-0. We have seen the Mariners be very aggressive recently on the bases. I mean, all season, really. They're third in baseball in steals, but especially recently. At 21 steals on the homestand. Or caught much either. We'll see if Julio gets aggressive here. Here's the pitch. Swung out and missed. Big rip by Naylor.
Their percentage, nearly 82% success rate is impressive. And I think this really correlates to Josh Naylor coming to Seattle. Not only has he been stealing bases, but he's been telling Cole Young to steal. We saw Gino try to steal the other day. It's kind of infectious, and these guys are really trying to push the game forward.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled away. It is amazing. Naylor, who has 11 steals with the Mariners, that ties for the most ever by a Mariners first baseman in a season. The difference is Naylor's been here for like 2 weeks.
He's going to set the single season record, and he probably has no idea.
It took Meyer an entire season. He played all but 2 games that year in 1977.
It's been amazing to watch, because you look at the numbers and the sprint speed, and it's just not there. Let's just be honest. It's just not there. But he is,
which makes it all that more
impressive. And he knows when to run. And he would have had one in the first, but Gino fouled that ball off.
Right.
He would have had that stolen
base.
Jump. Great jump.
He forced a balk too, which doesn't count as a steal, but it mattered in that game that he forced it.
And he's kind of approaching. You kind of look at him. 15 homers. I mean, 2020 is within reach.
Here comes the 1-2. Julio fakes, and he takes the ball downstairs. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. 4th inning, 1-0 Mariners. Julio at first base, no outs.
Josh Naylor also on 99 career home runs.
The Mariners have had 4 guys this year already claim number 100. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's crushed, but fouled.
Yeah, no team has ever had 5.
I mean,
let's go.
That seems like, what are the chances?
I mean, how many records can Josh Naylor set, like, within the first 2 weeks, right?
Yes. He has made history since he's been here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Julio, a nice lead at first base again. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled away. Well, you think about, and Naylor got here before Gino, but you think about what has happened since their arrival. I mean, Gino has only been here for a loss, 9-1 since he's been here.
And he really hasn't.
Into just a great situation.
Great situation. And he hasn't hit his stride. We know he can be a streaky hitter, yes.
Absolutely.
He has struggled. 1 home run in the 10 games that he has played, but again, a solid third, and such a presence is so welcoming and so inviting, and just kind of falls right back in where he was a couple years ago.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Kramer set, throws to first base. Julio scrambles back. And to me, that's even a better sign, because it will happen for Gino. The fact that they've gone 9-1 with him struggling is just a better sign for what's coming forward.
And I know Cal's homered in 3 straight games, but he's really struggled.
Yeah.
Average-wise, but they just keep winning.
Throw to first base, and Julio just gets back. That's in disengagement number 2. So Julio has some free reign here. He flashes a big smile He knows the situation.
Exactly. This was close.
That was close. And they're looking. They're not going to take a look. Yeah, he just got the fingertips back on first base. So we'll see what kind of lead Julio takes here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Okay, he takes an extra step. He's nearly at the cut. The low crouch at first base. Kramer for the belt, set. Julio takes off. The pitch is wide. The throw to second base is in time. Julio nailed by Rutschman. That was a great throw, right on the money. That's the first out.
That first base side, and Julio jogging off, not waiting to take a look at this one. He knows he's out. That was a really good throw, a laser from Rutschman.
He got a good jump, too. So full count now, 3 balls, 2 strikes. That last pitch was not close. And the pitch count for Kramer is starting to get elevated, and that matters. 53 pitches now. This Baltimore bullpen is one that the Mariners can really get to in this series. In fact, it's basically an entire new cast. Here's the 3-2. Swung on. That is stroked right field. Hit well. No to back. He's at the track in front of the wall. Makes the catch. That's the second out.
Another good at-bat by Naylor. Fouling off pitches. Seeing a lot of pitches, getting Kramer's pitch count up. Just misses this one.
That's going to be a constant theme in this series when you look at 3 pretty good starters against the Mariners. The key is just getting to that pen as quickly as possible. Here's Gino. The pitch to him. Swung on, tapped foul. One of the things to watch in this series, you look at the Mariners, we talk about all the home runs, 3rd in baseball in homers. On the other side of that, the Baltimore pitching staff, they give up a ton of home runs. Nearly dead last. Here comes the pitch. That's outside.
They've given up 164.
That's
3rd most in all of baseball. And their pen is 13th in ERA. Their starters dead last in the league in ERA.
So you look at that matchup, and when you look at, especially right now, how the Mariners are hitting homers. Here's the pitch. That's outside. And this kind of new lineup that we've seen. This feels like an opportunity for the Mariners to play a little home run derby in this 3-game set, especially for lefties. 2 balls, 1 strike on Gino. Kramer into the motion, he deals. Swung on, that's lifted center field. Allen a couple steps in, floats underneath it, right there, makes a one-hand catch. And that's it for the Mariners in the 4th. 0 on the board. We'll go to the bottom of the inning. Mariners still leading. It's 1-0 on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
109. Take a hack at
Mariners, your Home Street Bank score. Gary Hill, Brad Adam here. Top of the order for Baltimore. Jackson Holliday will lead things off. Kirby into the motion, he deals. And he sends it at the knees for a strike. It's a good first pitch, a curveball right there. George retired the first 7 he saw. Takes a big deep breath. Goes into the motion and deals. And sends that way outside. So count even, 1 ball, 1 strike to Holliday. He is the second baseman and leadoff man.
First batter to reach was Dylan Carlson, breaking that 0 for 35. Wow.
Here's the pitch. That's a strike.
Holliday actually, it's his second season, basically. He came up last year, but one of the few position players younger than Cole Young.
That's true, yeah. Both second basemen in this series, very young.
See what you did there. Come on.
I didn't have a choice.
I teed it up.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. That's a beauty. Fastball ripped it right by him. That's the second strikeout for George. 1 away here in the 4th.
And if I just start repeating anything that Rick said, just like kick me.
Oh,
or
it's
something.
fine. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. They were actually both taken in the same draft as well, both Cole Young and Jackson Holliday. As Westberg will stand in. He's 0 for 1 so far. 1-0 Mariners, 4th inning. The pitch is outside. Jackson, of course, was the first pick of 2022 draft, number 1 overall. And Cole Young, the 21st selection of the same draft. So some symmetry with both of them playing second. Here's the pitch. Swung on, that's tagged into the gap, right center field. Long run, Canzone. He's at the track, reaches up, makes the catch with a little skip at the end. And that's allowed. Out number 2.
He had to go a long way to get that. Julio, I don't think, was going to get there, so that was Dom's ball all the way right in front of that Orioles bullpen.
Here's Gunnar Henderson. And this is our premium matchup brought to you by Alaska Airlines. Enjoy that first-class feeling with industry-leading legroom. Alaska raising the bar for first class. He is awfully dangerous. Here's the pitch. That's up and away. Not having the same sort of season he had last year. Of course, he was top 4 in MVP votes last year. 37 homers, 31 doubles, but still having a good season and very dangerous. The pitch to him.
Just the 14 home runs, talking with some of the Orioles about that. He missed a good chunk of spring training, at least a month. And so him trying to get into playing shape, they feel has played a part in the power just not quite there yet.
Here's the 2-0. Swung on, that's ripped into center field to base hit, rolling to the gap. He's around first base. He might want 2. Dom picks it up. He wants 2. Dom will fire it to second. The tag is late. He has a double, a hustle double with 2 outs.
It almost looked like he waited until Dom threw and was maybe fooled Dom to thinking he's staying at first. Heads up base running.
So the tying run is second base now, and that brings up Adley Rutschman.
He did kind of hesitate around first and then was able to go and get in there. So Oriole runner in scoring position.
Kirby's been efficient so far. He's not even to 50 pitches yet. He's been really good. Just a couple hits so far. Trying to keep Baltimore off the board here. 1-0 Mariners, 4th inning. Rutschman, 9 home runs on the season. He's missed a lot of time this year. The pitch. And that's a touchdown low.
You can say that about most of their
hitters. That's been a big part of the story for Baltimore.
10 of their 13 position players have been on the IL. It's just been ridiculous. Pitching as well, and it just hasn't come together yet.
Rutschman had an oblique. He missed a month. Here's the pitch to him. And that's a touchdown low. He actually hasn't been back all that long. Just 11 games since his return.
And he was a number 1 pick overall as well back in 2019 at Oregon State. Really struggled early in his career against Seattle. Picked it up this year.
Here's the 2-0. Strike. 2 balls, 1 strike.
He was just 5 for 56 in his career against Seattle, but this year 7 for 13.
2-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger as well. Burst onto the scene in the majors. Here's the 2-1. Swung on, slashed foul. You know, a couple years ago, I think you for sure would have said, I think the baseball world thought that Adley Rutschman would be the young superstar catcher, maybe doing something-ish like Cal Raleigh is doing, but it has been Cal who has taken that mantle.
Exactly. Both switch hitters, young catchers, really good. But you're right, he didn't quite have the follow-up last year, and the numbers haven't been there this year either. Doesn't strike out, though, but the power number's just not there.
Here comes the 2-2. Ooh, so close to the corner. He twisted out of the way, and it was 96 just off the edge. So full count now, 3 balls, 2 strikes. It's a pretty good pitch.
George likes throwing that two-seamer there inside to those lefties. See if he goes back to it.
Kirby from the belt. He offers. Swung on, foul back. Yeah, 97 upper rail. Just gets a piece. George trying to keep the tying run stranded at second. Game 1 of this series. Game 1 of this long road trip for the Mariners. 3 teams, 4 different cities. Here comes the 3-2. Swung on and missed. That was a beauty. Danced out of the zone. The curveball. Rutschman swings through. That's the 3rd strikeout for George, and he does leave the tying run stranded at second base. We move along to the 5th. It's still 1.
Let's see if we can figure out the following baseball slang.
Mariners 1 run, 3 hits. Baltimore no runs on just a couple. You're with us inside the Western Washington Toyota radio booth. Kramer into the motion. Here's his pitch to Polanco. And it's over for a strike. He gets ahead. Polanco singled his last time. Mariners got their run in the first inning. A Josh Naylor RBI base hit. This will be pitch number 60 for Kramer. He delivers. Swung on, a little chopper right back to Kramer. Now over him. It's scooped up by Westberg. Fires to first just in time. Polanco retired. There's one away. That's funny. Last inning we were talking about Rutschman and Cal Raleigh and home runs. Given Cal's situation with 45 home runs, I was curious. Production from that position by team. It is pretty wild to think about just Cal's number with 45 home runs. You know, there's 10 teams this year in baseball that have single-digit home runs from that position. So I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about the entire position. Here's the pitch to Dom. Swung on. That's stroked into left field, a base hit. So Dom is aboard. So we're talking every game, no matter who has played catcher. Like the Giants and White Sox this year, they both have 5 home runs from that position this year.
Is Buster Posey not playing anymore? Is he not with the Giants? How about that?
Maybe he should think
about it. That is ridiculous.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
We just become so accustomed to just what Cal is doing this year. I know we talk about the history all the time, but we don't talk about it as much, I think, as comparing it to this year's hitters. Here's the pitch to JP. That's a strike. But for example, Cal has more home runs than the catchers from the Giants, White Sox, Padres, Mets, Twins, Diamondbacks, and Phillies combined. Those teams have 44 combined from that position.
Even the Phillies with Real Muto.
Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah.
There's a couple playoff teams in there.
Yes. Pitch to JP is outside.
And it's not just this year. I know this year is historic for Cal, but you go back, 27, 30, 33, 45.
He's just doing things that you don't see at that position. Well, any position, but especially that position. Here's the pitch. That's a strike. Ooh, looked like that was missed. That was too high. JP knows it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's always very easy to tell with JP's body language when he gets a call or doesn't get a call that goes his way.
And he knows the strike zone very well. I'll be very curious to see if ABS comes, the automatic ball strikes, next year. Because the managers that I've talked to have said that we will never let the pitcher call that because they think everything's a strike, right?
That became clear in spring.
Right, yeah. So it's catcher or batter, but then you got to worry about some batters, right?
Yes. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on, fouled away. I don't remember many moments in spring training. One I do remember.
You just kind of
it's just
walking
once
out of
it's
your
over,
memory.
it's the regular season. Yeah. One I do remember is the same player in the same at bat being wrong on 2 different pitches in spring training on the ABS.
And just blowing the
the
challenges for the whole game.
Missed them both. It was so funny. Here's the pitch. Swung on. That's ripped on 1 hop right to Holiday, the second baseman. To second for 1. Relay to first in time. Double play. JP hit it hard, but a nice play by Holiday. And the Mariners done quickly here in the 5th. So we'll move along to the bottom of the inning. It's 1-0 Mariners on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
Oh, the big hit.
Here. Talk about Baltimore injuries. He missed 2 months. Here's the pitch. All tied up. Swung on and missed. A fastball tailing in. He just came back. Homered in his first at bats. He's been back for 3 games. Here's the pitch to him. Swung on, chopped foul.
He was on the 60-day IL, right hamstring strain. And they think he'll DH most of the way the rest of the season. They're really going to try to give Mayo a look at first. Mayo, a third baseman, but really struggled defensively. So first base they're going to try with him. A lot of young players trying to figure things out for Baltimore.
Yeah. Here's the 0-2. Swung on, hard hit right side. Naylor way off the bag. Scoops it up off the shoe tops. Runs to first to record the out, and Mountcastle is done. Naylor in the right place. He was nearly between first and second base. He was so far over. That's the first out.
That's the second time we've seen him kind of play that second base position tonight. Cut in front of Cole Young in the previous inning to get a play way towards second base. And Kirby covered that one, but Naylor took it himself this time.
That would have been a hit for sure. That was 103 off the bat, so that's a good play. Here's Mayo, who we were just talking about. He struck out his first time. The pitch is a strike. Kirby's ahead.
And they're hoping that playing first base kind of takes up all of his kind of mental capacity right now, because he's learning the position. He's learning all the different nuances.
Yeah, one is outside.
And where to go and what to play at first. And so they're hoping focus there. Don't think when you're hitting.
Yeah.
Because he struggled at the plate, so they're hoping that it kind of frees him up a little bit to just kind of react and just hit.
He has had some wonderful minor league seasons. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, fouled away.
It was pretty vocal when he wasn't on the team.
Yes, he was.
The team. He's like, what am I doing down in AAA again?
Yeah.
Well, they're giving him his chance now, and so far it hasn't gone the way he would want to, or the team.
Well, then he went down to AAA and struggled there, too, after being very vocal about being sent down. But he'll get his chance now. That's for sure. The way is cleared. A lot of playing time here down the stretch.
Yeah, I think they'll be in for a big reset this offseason. Starting with the manager, and then see who stays, see who goes.
And time taken. They do have a lot to build around. They have a good core. I mean, you look at the top of the order, the Holiday, Westberg, Henderson, Rutschman. I mean, that's a great place to start, but they have some work in the outfield. They basically have to redo the bullpen. And they have rotation issues to deal with. The 1-2, swung on and miss. The high heat upstairs. Fourth strikeout for Kirby. There's 2 away here in the 5th.
And it's a team that won 91 games last year. And you mentioned that core. Everybody's so excited about the youngsters. Of course, they had Corbin Burns, a starter that they lost to free agency this offseason. They had Batista. Cano was better last year. The bullpen was better. They had 91 games, now in last place in the East, and just looking at a lot of work to do.
Here's the pitch to Noda. That's a strike over the corner. Yeah, you mentioned the 91 games last year into the postseason. The year before that, they won 101 games in the postseason, 2 years in a row. Grayson Rodriguez, a big injury this year, too, in the rotation after losing Burns in free agency. Of course, Burns, he got hurt as well. The 0-1. Swung on, smashed, fouled on the first baseline, and George is ahead. No balls, 2 strikes. He's looking to go 1-2-3 again.
He's gone 6 innings his last 4 turns, but it hasn't been this easy for him. 106 pitches, 104 pitches to get through that 6. But he's in really good shape right now.
He's got Noda where he wants him. No balls, 2 strikes. George into the motion. The 0-2. Too high, letter high. He reached back for a little extra. That was 98.
Feeling good in this heat,
yeah.
Huh? Glad that sun is gone. It was
warm,
super
my
hot. Friend. Yes. Did you go for a run today?
I did. Here's the 1-2. That's down low.
Like you keep track of your distance.
Well, it's both.
Because I like to go out like 15 minutes, wherever I go, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
so I know I can just come back in 15 minutes.
That's right. Yeah.
Or are you more of a keep track of distance type?
I keep track, but it's pretty loose. I usually have a goal. I get there and come back. So
that's your goal, to come back?
Yeah, just to make it back. The 2-2 swung on, hit high to center field. Julio a couple steps back, well in front of the track. Park will easily hold this one. Still drifting back, makes the catch. And that's it for Baltimore in the fifth. It's a 1-2-3 fifth inning as George Kirby, he's dealing 5 innings without giving up a run on just 2 hits so far. We go to the sixth. It's 1-0 Mariners on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
When's the last time Cole put the ball in play? Right? 4 walks on Sunday.
Yes.
Strikeout here.
I love the 0 for 0 with 4 walks. Here's the pitch. That's swung on. That's in play.
Okay.
Into the gap in left field. Carlson, though, will track it down.
Okay.
Puts it away for the out. There you go. Maybe not exactly what you had in mind, but it was in play.
Glad he remembered how to swing.
Let's pause for station identification on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
This is Mariners Baseball on Seattle.
The Mariners' lone run so far, the pitch. Is downstairs for a ball 1-0. He had a base hit in the first. He stole a bag, and Naylor drove him in. That's the scoring so far. George Kirby has held Baltimore to 2 hits. Dean Kramer's been good, too. He's at now 70 pitches with this one. He delivers. Swung on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Randy done such a good job, that leadoff hitter, since the trade deadline. 7 of the 9 games. He's led off. He's got hits in 7 of 9. He's scored in 5 of them. On base, high.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on and missed. Yeah, he's got a very good skill set for the leadoff spot.
Sometimes it doesn't look like it when he swings out of his shoes. You're like, But he can work a count, and he will take walks. And does still homer. And since June 30th, 15 home runs.
Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. And he goes on a breaking ball. Quickly, there's 2 away. Hey, make sure you're at T-Mobile Park for one of the biggest events of the season on August 22nd. It's the Mariners Drone Show, presented by Muckleshoot. Catch the Mariners take on the A's in a post-game show featuring 500 drones. Get your tickets at mariners.com. Here comes Cal. He's 0 for 2 so far. He has seen a lot of breaking stuff from Kramer. We're in the 6th inning, 1-0 Mariners. He's into the motion. Here's the pitch to Cal. It's over for a strike. Right on the inside corner. He's ahead again. Cal had 3 hits in the series against Tampa Bay. All home runs. He drove in 8. He's 2 away from 100 in terms of RBIs. Here's the 0-1. He watches it all the way in low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got that streak of 3 straight games with a home run. That's his 4th such streak. He does have one streak of 4 games in a row with a home run.
Trying to do that again. Here's the 1-1 to Cal. Swung on, hit high to left field. Racing over Carlson. Now circles under it. He's near the line. Makes a one-hand catch, and that's it for the Mariners in the 6th. They go 1-2-3. We got a pitcher's duel on hand here. Mariners on top 1-0 on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Excellent. 5 scoreless so far. 2 hits allowed. Carlson was the first one to reach for Baltimore. Kirby retired the first 7 before an infield base hit. Then was erased on a double play. George steps into the pitch. Here it is. He misses down low. He's been nearly ahead of everyone. That miss is 1-0.
And with that base hit, Carlson snaps that 0 for 35.
That's a long streak. Here's the 1-0. Finds the corner. That's a strike. Well, not really the corner.
Did it?
It was pretty wide. George will take it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's some corner out there.
Yeah. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on, that stroked into right field, but Canzone doesn't have to move a muscle. He just reaches up and makes the catch. His feet stayed in place. 1 away.
That 0 for 35 that Carlson broke wasn't even, all right?
I got to know this.
First base.
First baseman, Chris Davis.
Boom.
That's right. Here's the pitch to Greg Allen. That's a strike over the edge. He had that.
0 for 54.
Yeah. Oh, man.
September of 2018 into April of 19.
That is unbelievable.
After signing like a $160 million deal.
Here's the 0-1. Swung out a miss. No balls, 2 strikes.
0 for 54.
That is so long.
That is shockingly long. Carlson, I was happy that he got the single. Because he was erased, like you said, on the double play, so it all worked out. But, oh, my goodness.
Here comes the 0-2. Down low. Hey, how long does a hitless streak have to go before you ask for the ball when you get a hit?
I was wondering. I watched Carlson.
I wonder what the
I guess 0 for 35,
there.
you're okay. Yeah. I would think he had to have done something, snapping that 0 for 54.
Kirby into the motion. Here comes the 1-2. Swung on. That is lifted foul. First base side. Yeah, because 0 for 34, 0 for 35. It's not great, but it's not like I'm never going to get a hit again back. Like 0 for 50. That's
like, wow.
Yeah.
Am I ever going to play in the majors again? Right. That was it was tough for sure.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 6th inning, 1-0 Mariners. Kirby winds. He deals. Swung on and missed. That was a beauty. A fastball just ripped it by him. Strikeout number 5 for George. He is dealing. 6 in a row retired by George. There's 2 away here in the 6th.
That two-seamer just running way away from Allen. Cal sets up inside. It goes out over the outside part of the plate. Just a vicious two-seamer.
Here's Holiday. He's 0 for 2. He struck out last time. George into the motion. He delivers. Outside. You're with us inside the Western Washington Toyota radio booth. 1 of 3 here in Baltimore. M's leading 1-0. 6th inning. George rocks. He deals. And sends it over for a strike.
One of the first things that Tony Mansolino did when he took over as manager when Brandon Hyde got fired was sit Jackson Holiday down and say, "You are my second baseman."
Here's the pitch. Swung on, line drive left field. Randy racing in. He's not going to get there. It's a base hit. Picks it up off 1 hop, and it's a 2-out single for Holiday.
I told him, "You're my second baseman, and you'll be hitting leadoff every game. Don't worry about matchups or if you're going to play that day. You are our leadoff hitter."
Smart. He's the future at that spot. At least at second base, and maybe a leadoff man as well. That's kind of what this season has turned into for Baltimore. Here's Westberg. 0 for 2 so far. Kirby from the stretch. Here's his pitch. Swung on and missed. That's a good fastball. 97. He's had good life to his heaters in this one. He's gotten to the two-seam quite a bit. And the pitch he's thrown the most so far tonight. He's ready. He deals. Swung on, foul.
That's close there. Look out.
And
I think we were both ready for that one.
Yeah.
I was proud of the way we reacted.
Yeah, well, I would have caught that for sure.
I think so. I know so. You would have. But that would just hit on the brick
just above us. Ooh. No balls, 2 strikes. Kirby set. He deals. Upstairs. You should know if it's lower, I go screen protector. So I just give on my body.
Gotcha. For the screens?
Yeah.
Well, there's so many. Can your body cover all of them? Do I need to help cover?
Out. Yeah, you do. That's why I told you.
Gotcha.
For next time.
Gotcha.
And if you get hit with the ball, you get hit with the ball.
Right. You'll take that as opposed to the screen. It's a risk you're willing to take.
Yeah.
I understand. You're multiple screens.
Yeah.
Yes. I've got just one. And happy to have it back. The computer. We had a saga yesterday, Gary. Oh, my.
Here comes the 1-2. Outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 6th. 1-0 Mariners. Tying around at first base. Kirby at 81 pitches, so he still has room to operate here. On a steamy night here in Baltimore. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Blew it by him. 97. George Kirby punches the air as he gets the strikeout. His 6th of the night. He has kept Baltimore scoreless through 6 innings. He has been great. He's done it all in just 3 hits. We head to the 7th. It's still 1-0 Mariners on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network. quickly as possible. They haven't had much luck against Kramer. They scored in the first inning. Here's the pitch to Julio. Swung on, fouled, straight back out of play. Kramer at 76 pitches, so he also still has some room to operate. No one throwing for either side. Both starters have been excellent. Kramer, 1 foot in front of the other, goes into the motion, deals. And it's inside. As you probably heard from the home plate umpire.
That's our buddy Mike Malinsky from Washington area.
He likes to let us know when it's close.
He does.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on a miss. A waving cut at a splitter just below the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We take our first look at the Chevy Colorado scoreboard. Red Sox and Astros just underway. So we'll watch that one closely as we move through the night. Astros beating the Red Sox last night. Here comes the 1-2. That's down low.
Yeah, there was some drama in that
There
game.
was some drama in that
Correa's
game.
first game back.
Yes.
Alex Bregman's first game back. And I give the fans credit. They cheer him. His first at-bat, Bregman. He homers. And then they boom the rest of the game.
So funny. Here's the 2-2. Strike 3 called. Zips a fastball right by him. Strikeout number 4 for Kramer. I also thought it was fitting that he just dumped it right into the Crawford boxes, too. It's perfect. Yeah.
It's like, it's either Monster or Crawford.
Yeah, the most interesting.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. The most interesting part of the game, I thought, when it was playing out and got to the 9th inning and 1-run game, it was like, no Hader. We found out today why Hader went on the IL today with a shoulder issue. Here's Josh Naylor. The pitch to him. That's up and away. I don't have to tell any Mariner fan, I think, about how a loss that is for the Astros.
We talked about the Orioles and their pitching woes and injuries this year. Nobody's been hit harder than the Astros, starters and relievers. And that is huge. A shoulder, I mean, that's usually not just a 10-day thing.
Here's the 1-0. Swung on, fouled away. Oh, you're right. I mean, the Astros been hit, especially on the offensive side, so much. And I felt like part of the reason why they survived it so well, that combo of Abreu and Hader, they just locked down. Anytime they would get a lead, it would be game over. And now they don't have that. You'd have to suspect Abreu would go into the 9th inning role. But that leaves a huge hole.
Huge. And they're starting to get some of their starters back. Arrigetti's back. Yeah. Christian Javier came back last night. So some starters are going, but to lose your all-star closer is just a huge blow.
We have a pitch timer violation on Kramer. So it's 2-1 now on Naylor. Naylor drove in the only run of the game so far. 1-0, 7th inning. Here's the pitch. That's wide. Mariners trying to win 8 in a row for the first time this year. Three balls, 1 strike. Kramer into the motion. He deals. That's called a strike. That was pretty far outside. Naylor has questions.
That's the corner that we saw with George hitting the last half inning.
We have seen a handful of big misses. That was one of them. And it's gone both ways. So 3-2. It should have been a walk, though.
But you can almost accept it if it is going both ways. If you're calling that spot both teams, and that's kind of the outer edge of where you're going to go, hitters can know that.
Here's the 3-2. Swung on and missed. That was a good pitch. A splitter on the corner. Second strikeout in a row. There's 2 away here in the 7th. Hey, don't miss the final 2 concerts of the summer at T-Mobile Park. Hozier coming up Thursday, August 14th. The Lumineers on Saturday, August 16th. You can get premium seats, Press Club, All-Star Club, so much more. Get your tickets at mariners.com/concerts.
I've got some of my daughters going to both of those. I'm not sure what the combination is. I lose track in the summer.
Here's the pitch to Gino. Swung on, strokes it to center field. A couple steps back. Allen is right there. He puts it away, and the Mariners go 1-2-3 in the 7th. Kramer has retired 7 in a row. So we go to the bottom of the 7th, score the same. It's 1-0 Mariners on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network. Mountcastle right here. He's been so good tonight. Henderson doubled last time against George. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hard hit on a couple hops right to second base. Cole Young has it, lob toss to first. That's the out. One pitch, one away here in the 7th inning. Kirby's still 83 pitches. Remember a couple years ago against Baltimore, George Kirby went 9 scoreless. Now, it was not a complete game because it went into 10 innings. Mariners lost 1-0 in 10 innings. So George has done this type of thing to Baltimore before. Here's Rutschman. The pitch to him. Swung on, skied on the infield. JP a couple steps back, now on the grass, waiting for it to drop out of the night sky. Makes the catch leaning back. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
He just might have got himself another inning.
I think you're right.
He's not gone more than 7 this year. He has been so efficient, and the Orioles just keep helping him out. Can we get a 3-pitch inning?
I mean, Mountcastle has to take at least one.
Has to.
He has to.
Fastball down the middle.
I mean, if you're George,
challenge
him. I mean, it's a 1-0 game, but here's the pitch. And it's a fastball. Oh, a little off the play, but called a strike. So 0-1. See if Mountcastle tries to take a swing here. George has thrown over 7 innings 3 times in his career. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. 97. He just reached back and fired it by him.
It's just 2 fastballs at 97, just challenging him here in the 7th. That is impressive. He must feel really good today. And it's been kind of building. You know, his last 7 turns, he's 6-1. You see,
yeah,
it's kind of falling into shape, him rounding into shape. Missing time, you know, with that shoulder injury, but boy, he is George Kirby of old.
Kirby staring in. No balls, 2 strikes. Trying to go 7 scoreless. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him. 97, crackling over the edge. George Kirby has been brilliant tonight. 7 scoreless against Baltimore on just 3 hits. 7 punch-outs along the way. George Kirby has been phenomenal tonight. We head to the 8th. It's still 1-0 Mariners on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network. Over for a strike. Kramer, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Kirby, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs. They have both been awesome. Here's the pitch. Swung on, driven, right field, hit well, towards the wall, leaping up at the wall and making the catch, Noda. Looked like he had a chance to bang off the wall. Noda reels it in, an extra base hit taken away. Defense hasn't had to do much. Mariners haven't made a lot of hard contact tonight before that one. Mariners have their bullpen going. So you wonder...
It was Bizzardo inspired.
Yeah, Bizzardo's still standing around. Canzone standing in. He singled last time. There is still some room with George's pitch count. Kramer at 88 pitches. Here's the pitch to Dom. That's a strike over the edge. Kirby at 87. So,
and you look at the lineup, you got 6, 7, 8, 9 coming up for the Orioles.
It doesn't look like anyone is hugging George currently, which is an indication. Here's the pitch.
Not on how he's pitched, not an indication of that, but you're right. Just leave him alone, and he's ready for another inning.
That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, wait a minute. We do have some hugs.
There's a hug. There's a handshake.
There's some hugs.
Here's the 1-1. Swung out, fouled away. All pitch counts aren't equal as well. We say, George has 87. This is a very hot night. A very steamy night. Not the easiest night to pitch in. So I'm sure that also played a factor. Not to mention, you had an off day and a rested bullpen ready to go. The 1-2. Swung on, line drive on 1 hop. It skips right into the glove of Henderson. Spins around, fires to first. He's got the out. 9 in a row, retired by Kramer. That brings up JP. Mariners have not had a lot going offensively in this one. They have the lead, though, 1-0 in the 8th inning. You're with us inside the Western Washington Toyota radio booth. 1 run, 4 hits. No runs, 3 hits, Baltimore. It's been a rough night for JP. A couple of DPs. Last time scorched it. Here's the pitch. Swung on, foul back. Kramer at 93 pitches, you would have to think, despite Baltimore's bullpen woes, this will probably be the last inning for Kramer.
Trying to get him through the 8th, absolutely. 2 outs here, JP. Oh, base is empty. Yeah, this is going to be Kramer's inning.
Here's the pitch. That's upstairs. Looks like Garcia is warming up in the Baltimore bullpen. He's been with a couple teams this year. I don't think he's actually appeared for Baltimore yet, but it kind of gives you an idea in a 1-0 game. They're really just kind of sifting through their current bullpen. The 1-1. Outside. They're just no rules right now. Trying to figure it out. Tista's on the IL. They traded Kittredge. As Bizzardo still throwing, so it looks like he'll get the call. Here's the 2-1. Strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And just what a difference. We know, fans know that, between having a good bullpen and having, a last place bullpen like the Orioles. It's like flip a coin every night. But the Mariners certainly know.
The 2-2, that's high and away.
Know their roles and know, and had success this year and just, being able to lock down, not give up leads, not give up games. It's so demoralizing.
For sure. 3 balls, 2 strikes. JP looking to reach. Here's the pitch. Swung on, line drive center field. It's down, a base hit. So JP with a 2-out single that breaks up 9 in a row knockdown. Mariners would love some insurance. A 1-0 lead in the 8th. They're looking for more. That's your Home Street Bank score. And we'll see if Baltimore wants to make a move or if this is just going to be a conversation on the mound. Mariners leading 1-0, 8th inning. Kramer at 98 pitches. JP at first base. Cole Young, the batter. He's 0 for 2 so far.
See Adley Rushman out there talking as well in this meeting. Seeing how Kramer's feeling, see what he's got left. 2 outs here in the 8th. Can they talk his way to staying in?
So you'd have to think he is going to stay. You'd have to think this will probably be his last batter then. If Young reaches, they probably go to the pen with a righty up and a Rosarena on deck. So Cole Young will bat here. Mariners leading 1-0. They want more. So JP dances off first base. Kramer from the stretch. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed. Young, the slightly open stance from the left side. Kramer from the stretch. His pitch. Swung on, foul back. Hits the screen just above the brick. 0-2. That was pitch number 100. 1-0 M's, 8th inning.
Kramer has thrown at least 100 3 other times this year.
Crowd gets behind him. Throw to first base. JP, kind of a slow motion dive back to the bag, was barely off first base.
Like, you made me get dirty? Seriously? Come on. Yeah, the crowd here trying to get behind Kramer a little bit. Not what we're used to at T-Mobile Park.
Not the passion we saw over the weekend at T-Mobile for sure. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Kramer finishes off a brilliant night. 8 innings of 1-run ball. He kept the Mariners pretty quiet, but the Mariners do lead. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Mariners going to the pen here. 1-0 M's on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
Whatever temperatures this summer brings, your
of a 1-0 game. He'll face Mayo here, who struck out twice against Kirby. Luzardo set, he deals. That's down low. It's called to the bullpen and helping hand, brought to you by Seattle's Union Gospel Mission, where they're helping men, women, and children break the cycle of homelessness and start new lives. Luzardo chomping away at bubble gum as he stares in. He's ready. He deals. sends it over for a strike. 1-1. Bizzardo this year, over 50 games, a 2.87 ERA. Here comes the 1-1. Swung on, popped up. Short right field. Canzone a couple steps in. He's there. He makes the catch. The first out. This one has to feel pretty good for Bizzardo, too. If you remember, the Mariners acquired Bizzardo from Baltimore. He had a 3-inning stint in a Baltimore uniform. It did not go well. Or a 3-game stint. Pitched 2 and a third innings. It gave up 4 runs. And that has been quite a good trade, as it turned out, for the Mariners. Here's Noda, the pitch. Strike. He gets ahead. Good slider. 0-1.
Talking with some of their media members, like, oh yeah, Bizzardo was here, wasn't he? Like, for 3. What? That's right. How's he doing?
He's doing real well.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, line drive, base hit center field. So the tying run aboard as Noda reaches.
And when Bizzardo can land that slider like we've seen him, especially this year, that is just a weapon for him. Couple that with a four-seamer, I mean, that's what he's been really effective.
He's had 2 pitches this year that have rated out really well. And for any reliever, if you get, usually 1 pitch can be enough to be very good. But for him, it's been the sliders you just mentioned. The 2-seam as well has rated out really well. Here's his first pitch. That's outside. The 2-seam, for example, opponent's hitting 122 against his 2-seam this year. 1 ball, no strikes on Carlson. Bizzardo from the stretch. Runner at first base, the tying run. Throws to first, and Noda gets back. Noda with a steal this year.
Looking into the dugout, George Kirby's got a towel around his neck. He's standing, watching intently. He's not going back to get ice or treatment yet. He wants to see the end of this 8th, I'm sure.
Here's the 1-0. Strike. Gabe Spire is warming up in the bullpen. You'd have to imagine if this inning were to get to Jackson Holliday at the top, that would be the spot for Spire. 8th inning, 1-0 Mariners. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bizzardo bent at the waist. Now straightens up. He deals 1-1. That's a strike. 96 as he burns it in. 1-2.
Well, that's right down the middle, Carlson. You're not going to get a better pitch to hit than that one.
See what they do here. They go back fastball or go to the slider here. Try and wipe him out with a strikeout. Carlson calls time.
Yeah, Noda talking to the first base coach. I wouldn't think anything would be on here with 1 out in the 8th, but we'll see.
The 1-2. Swung out, foul back. Just gets a piece. Chased one off the plate at 96, although we've seen that be a strike a handful of times in this game. Bizzardo set. He deals 1-2. Swung on, popped up. That's going to get into the seats third base side. He went slider. Kirby was excellent tonight. 7 scoreless on just 3 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Now it's Bizzardo in the 8th. 1-0 Mariners. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Got him. Bizzardo with the punch out. Blows 97 past Carlson, and there's 2 away. It's a big out. Here comes Dan, and they won't wait till Holiday. They're going to get Spire with Greg Allen due up here, the 9th man in the order. So, Mariners going back to the bullpen here to call on Spire as Bizzardo gets a couple outs with a runner at first base, the tying run. We'll come back with a new pitcher right after this on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
All right, I've trained for this. I'm ready to face endless negotiations.
Called on here. Spire has been excellent this season. An ERA just above 2 this year in 53 games. A lot of strikeouts, 59 Ks in 44 innings. He doesn't care how he gets this final out. So 1-0 Mariners, your home street bank score. We have a pinch hitter here. So Allen lifted. Jeremiah Jackson will be the pinch hitter. Spent most of the season in the minors this year. Batting .250, no homers, and RBI. A lot of new faces on this Baltimore team. We have a pinch runner at first base as well. There's a lot of moving parts here with the tying run at first base. Spire staring at first. He's set. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, line drive center field. Julio right there, barely has to move. He's right there to make the catch at the chest. Spire does the job on one pitch. And that's it for Baltimore here in the 8th. Brilliant night of pitching for the Mariners. No runs allowed through 8. We go to the 9th. Still 1-0 Mariners on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
Michael's Toyota of Bill.
Pinch hitter in the outfield for Baltimore. Here comes the pitch to Randy. And he sends it over for a strike. Johnson stays in center. Jackson stays in right. Garcia making his debut for Baltimore tonight. He's pitched for the Yankees and Mets this year. Here's the pitch. That's upstairs. Can't imagine there's many guys that have pitched for the Mets and Yankees in the same season, but that's what he's done.
Let me just text Alex Mayer and we'll find that out.
He's got nothing better to do.
Right. Or is he only, Mariner?
Here's the pitch that swung on a miss. No, he's everything.
He can do everything?
He doesn't mind.
Okay. I'm sure he's, yeah.
He pitched 8 games for the Mets, 1 game for the Yankees with an ERA over 10. So he can go all that well. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball inside. Well, the Mariners a 1-0 lead. They would like more. A little insurance. Munoz is throwing and getting ready. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and popped up out of play behind home plate. We'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hey, the Mariners took the first 3 games of the Vetter Cup Series in San Diego. Now it returns to T-Mobile Park, August 25th to the 27th, the final 3 games as the Mariners take on the Padres. Get your tickets at mariners.com. That'll be a fun series. Padres in the thick of it. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. That's out of play. First base side.
I think they're just a game behind the Dodgers.
Yeah, right now.
In the West, they are playing well. They had another just ridiculous, crazy trade, trade deadline.
Like, you never know what they're going to do.
That guy, it's unbelievable how he'll trade and just what they'll do. O'Hearn from here goes. The
2-2, swung on, slow roller, third base side. Westberg charges, gloves, fires to first in time. And there's one away. Here comes Cal.
I mean, for those guys in San Diego, the prospects are just there to be traded. It is unreal. But, I mean, they fortified their team again. They're really good. And that'll be a fun series, as you mentioned, at home. And maybe we can get Eddie Vedder out there.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that guitar-themed trophy that they're going to present with the winning team on the field. Just one win away, Garrett.
1 point away. Here's Cal. The first pitch to him. That's inside. The Dodgers a game back of the Padres. The Mariners a game back of the Astros coming into tonight. If things break well for the Mariners, they could be in a tie for first place in the West at the end of tonight. The 1-0. Down low. 2 balls and no strikes. 1-0 Mariners, ninth inning. Mariners scored in the first inning. Randy, the first batter for the Mariners, scored the only run. Josh Naylor drove him in. Here comes the 2-0. Swung on, fouled back. It's a good rip by Cal. Fastball just underneath the zone at 95. Two balls, 1 strike. 1 out, ninth inning. Mariners on top 1-0. Here's the pitch to Cal. Swung on off the end of the bat. Little fly ball looper, short right field. Jackson racing in. Over the shoulder catch by Holiday in short right. A little juggle, but he hauls it in. And that's the second out.
Got a smile. Glove covers the face after this one. Just about bobbles. He goes back and he's got it pretty casual. Whoop. Off the glove, off the body, and then makes the recatch, I guess you call it.
A recatch is a good way to put it. Here's Julio. 1-0 Mariners. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. The 0-1. That's down low. Count even. Munoz ready to go. He will be handed a lead. The only question is how big of a lead. Right now it's 1-0. Here's the pitch. Swung on, chop foul at home plate. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Julio walked in this game. There hasn't been a lot of traffic for the Mariners tonight. Credit Dean Kramer going 8 innings. Only allowing 1 run. He pitched well.
Yeah, season high 8 innings for Kramer.
Here comes the 1-2 to Julio. Swung on a rocket up the middle. It skips near second base into center field. And Julio's aboard with a knock.
Garcia way too much of the play with that off-speed pitch. Middle, and Julio punished it back up the middle.
Yeah, 105 off the bat.
Garcia able to duck out of the way, luckily. That one would have left a mark.
Yeah, that was smashed. We're going to have a conversation on the mound between Drew French, the pitching coach, and Garcia, who will face Naylor here. Ideally it would be a homer, but Naylor put one in the gap, could score Julio from first base. Mariners would love to give Munoz just a little more breathing room. Not much margin for error with a 1-0 game.
As good as he is, you would love to see, you're right, 2 to 3 run lead as opposed to just that 1. And the Orioles will have the top of their order up for the 9th inning, the 1, 2, and 3 hitters.
So the meeting broken up.
Julio's already been thrown out once trying to steal tonight.
Yeah, it took a really jump, and Rutschman still got him. See if this is a time the Mariners get aggressive. Naylor's driven in the only run tonight. Here's the pitch. That's over the corner for a strike. Thought he had a walk last time, and a pitch was called out of the zone, was called a strike, and then struck out on the next pitch. No balls, a strike. 1-0 Mariners, 9th inning. Julio at first. Here's the pitch. That's away. Count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Garcia ready, he deals. Swung on, hit high, left field, on the line, tailing, and it's into the seats. That's out of play. So 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Naylor. Ninth inning, 1-0 Mariners. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Naylor calls time. Leo, decent lead at first base. Here comes the pitch to Naylor. Low, just missed. A curveball underneath the zone, so count even here. Naylor steps out for a moment, adjusts the batting gloves. Runs the barrel of the bat over the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled away. It's a good plate appearance.
We've seen that a lot with Naylor, too.
Yeah.
I mean, his numbers have coming over very similar to what we saw in Arizona this year. High batting average, high on base, slugging 130 points higher with Seattle than he did with Arizona.
He'd love to find a gap right here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There goes Julio. The pitch is swung on, ripped, but foul. So we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that was the scenario, right? Julio running, line drive, right field. If that was fair, he scores easily.
He scores.
And Naylor talked about him changing the way he kind of hit this year to fit Arizona's big ballpark, big outfield. Didn't try to homer. He had 31 a couple years ago in Cleveland. Just 11 before he came over. But higher average, higher on base.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Naylor. Swung on, fouled away. It looked like he made up his mind at the very last moment and just fouls it straight back.
The ball was 2 feet high and a foot outside. Wow.
Oh, he made contact. Like the other day, he had that fastball that was letter high and somehow just got enough of it.
Definitely in swing mode.
So he pitched number 8. Baltimore has their bullpen going. Here's the throw to first base. Julio back easily. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mariners leading 1-0, 9th inning. Mariners have won more one-run games than any team this year. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up. Short left field. Ranging back Henderson. Carlson is there. Carlson wants it. He'll take it. He makes the catch, and that's it. Mariners are done in the 9th. So here we go. Munoz will take on Baltimore. We go to the 9th. 1-0. Mariners lead on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
Attention Mariners fans. Play
Do it. Jackson Holliday, the second baseman, going to lead things off. Taking a quick peek of the Chevy Colorado scoreboard. Boston and Houston still tied in the third inning, no score. Mariners trying to do their part. With a Mariner win and a Houston loss, they'll be tied for first place at the end of the night. First, Munoz has to close down Baltimore. Holliday 1 for 3, the leadoff man for Baltimore. Munoz set. Here comes his pitch. Swung on and missed. A helpless swing and a wicked slider on the corner. 0-1. Andres Bennett at the waist. Right arm dangles. Now straightens up. Here comes the 0-1. Tried the slider again. That time it's wide. 1 ball, 1 strike. George Kirby excellent tonight. 7 scoreless. Baltimore just 4 hits so far. Here's the 1-1. Swung on a chopper right back to Munoz. Gloves, runs halfway over. Underhand toss to first in plenty of time. That's 1 away. Looked like for a moment Munoz was just going to go all the way with it. Run all the way to first base.
I thought about that too, and then he's like, wait a minute. I got a first baseman there. It's hot and humid. Come on. I don't need to finish this one off. But really important to get that leadoff batter out and off the bases.
Here's Westberg. 14 homers this year. Here's the pitch. That's low. This with a fastball. Munoz has been dominant this year, a 1.37 ERA. Excellent strikeout rate. He's set. He deals. Swung on and missed. A beauty of a slider. He evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's set from the chest. The 1-1. Swung on, chopped foul. So he's got him right where he wants him.
Got a lot of options now at 1-2. Fastball up and in, slider off the plate. You throw something for a strike.
Yeah, given that swing we saw on the slider, chance we might see that again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. There it was. Devastating sliders. He swings through. That's the second out. And the Mariners 1 out away from 8 in a row. They got to go through Gunnar Henderson to do it. Top 5 MVP last year. 37 homers a year ago. 2 outs. 1-0 Mariners. 9th inning. Here's the pitch from Munoz. And he misses wide. Try to get the slider there. This year, Henderson, 14 home runs. Batting from the left side. Munoz set. He deals. This is high and away. A fastball at 95. Not their premium velo. Two balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. Just misses the slider off the plate, so 3-0. No margin for error in a 1-0 game. 2 outs, 9th inning. Munoz ready. He deals. Down low, ball 4. And Baltimore has put the tying run aboard. Here comes Adley Rutschman.
And here comes Cal meeting her at the mound here.
Looks like the entire infield will converge. While they do that, let's pause for station identification on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.
This is Mariners Baseball on
It looks like they're calling for the trainer.
That's not good.
No, here comes Dan Wilson. Trainers had to talk to Munoz. So they're having a conversation. He's not checking anything out.
Looks like he's trying to catch his breath a
looks
little
like he's just
bit.
breathing really heavy. It is we've talked about it. It's hot, muggy night. Munoz has a baseball in his hand, so that's a good thing. I don't think we're dealing with any sort of injury. As
he's just trying to catch his breath. Yeah, look at that.
That's kind of the way it looks.
Maybe from running, halfway to first, that first batter, adrenaline's going, and lost his breath, and he couldn't get it back.
He's just getting water now. You have a moment of terror, though, when you see the players look to the dugout and call for a trainer.
It looks like he's going to get some electrolytes real quick.
Hey, we've seen this year, too.
Yeah.
We saw Trent Thornton struggle with the heat earlier this year. Like, this is no joke when you get in conditions like this, and they're taking all precautions here. He was just breathing really hard.
But he keeps nodding his head like he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Gino there to make sure. And Cal's walking back, so Cal seems to be satisfied.
Yeah. Mariners have not started to warm anyone up in the bullpen. Fans in Baltimore are restless.
See if they'll give him a couple of warm-up pitches as well.
Hey, while we're talking, Boston is taking the lead over the Red Sox, over the Astros. It's 2-0 Boston. Take a look at our Chevy Colorado scoreboard. So, Dan Wilson heads back to the dugout. 9th inning, 1-0 Mariners. Munoz on, tying run at first base, 2 outs. Here's Adley Rutschman. The question is, Munoz going to get a warm-up? Guess not. So he's just going to go right back to it.
A bit of a surprise there, but I guess if no injury. Okay.
So Munoz ready to go. 1-0 Mariners. Rutschman, 9 homers this year. Here comes the pitch. It's there. Good slider right at the bottom of the zone. 0-1. Henderson takes his lead. He has 16 steals. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit hard. Left side, it's through for a base hit. Into left field. Rosarena scoops it up, fires it in. Henderson gets to second base, and now Baltimore with the tying and go-ahead runs aboard. Suarez way off the bag, and Rutschman just punched it right down the line. There comes Mountcastle.
A more favorable matchup here for Munoz, right on right. Mountcastle struck out his last at-bat in the 7th. That was Kirby's last batter of the game.
That's a great point. A couple lefties in a row. Want to switch, batting left-handed against Munoz. So here we go. 1-0 Mariners. Bottom of the 9th. 2 outs, 2 on. Mountcastle the hitter. He's been back just a couple of games. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. There's the slider right on the corner.
Wow, was he trying to end the game?
Yes.
Wow, that was a hard swing. Hoping for a fastball and swung right through it.
Munoz set. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit high, deep left field. It is tailing and foul.
Whoa! They had the distance in that new pulled-in wall in left field. It's just been a disaster over there throughout the years, but it's in this year, and that would have cleared it. But luckily, it goes foul.
That gave Baltimore fans a thrill and terror for Mariner fans. It's just a foul ball. No bolts, 2 strikes. 1-0 Mariners, 9th inning. 2 on, 2 outs. Munoz set. Here comes the pitch. Did he go? He did not. Checked his swing on a slider. Let's see if he goes back to the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Every fan on their feet here in Baltimore. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Munoz set. His pitch. Swung on, fouled back. 98. Just off the corner. That's the velo.
And now we're getting the velo back. You're right. We wonder why 95, 96 didn't get the breath, right? Yeah, wasn't feeling good. Now hopefully he's kind of slowed that down. Got his breath back, strength back, and got the velo back.
Mariners 1 strike away. 2 on, 2 outs. Mariners leading 1-0. Here comes the pitch. Swung on, slow roller to short. JP has it, sets his feet, fires to first, in time. That's the ball game. The Mariners have won 8 games in a row as Andres Munoz closes down a brilliant day on the mound. 1-0. Mariners beat Baltimore. A thriller as the Mariners take the first game of this series. It's awesome. Bizardo and Munoz finish the deal, and they make 1-run stand.
Now, Kirby's last 12 starts, 7-2 now with a 2.78. I mean, he's just looking better and better and better each start. Munoz, an interesting 9th inning, catching his breath. It didn't seem like he was right for a while, but then when he needed to, with 2 on and 2 out, he got Mountcastle to ground out. And as you mentioned, Kirby fantastic, Munoz getting it done. Save number 28 for Munoz, just extending his career high. A great way to start the road trip and this series.
Absolutely. 1-0. Mariners get the win. We'll come back. We got more to come right after this on the Global Credit Union Mariners Radio Network.